Hello, hello. How's everybody doing today? This is Tuesday Talks at 10:30. All right. So good morning, everyone. This is Tuesday Talks at 10:30. Welcome to Connecting to Spirit with Stacy. My name is Stacy Niedenthal. I am here every Tuesday at 10:30 to talk to you about grief, to talk to you about death and dying, to talk to you about different things that maybe you're not comfortable in talking with other people about. If you're on, let me know that you're on. So that I can see who's on. I've got it on my other photos. Oh, there we go. Hey, my husband's on. Hey, baby. So on Tuesdays at 10:30, we always come together. And like I said, we talk about things that maybe you're not comfortable with talking to others about. And it's that moment in time where we just sit for a few minutes and we do some aha moments and think about grief and death and dying and meditation. We talk about wholeness and oneness. It's what's going on in the world, but it's through that spiritual aspect. So let me know if you're on and say hi, and let me know where you're watching from. I always like to set my intentions before I start. That way you know who I am and what I'm about. My name is Stacy. I am an evidential medium. I am a child of God and a spiritual healer. And I've been given a gift from God to channel spirit using love and light for my higher good and the higher good of those that God puts in my path. I'm not the medium that says I see death all around you and you're going to be dead in 10 days. My gift, my prayer is that God, that spirit, that angels bring in the most loving message to help your spirit heal. So when you sit in front of me for a reading, that's part of the intention that you hear is, not all mediums work the same way. We all have our different modalities, but we work in love and light, and we want to show you that there's evidence of your loved one on the other side. So good morning, good morning. So some events that are coming up, and definitely check the event page because a lot of things are coming up. I'm going to be in Bel Air, Maryland, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. There's still some seats available in the group, and I think there's maybe 1 or 2 privates that are available. June 11th, here at Hip Gypsy Emporium in Chambersburg, we've got a gallery reading, and then I'm back in Bel Air the 26th through the 28th, privates as well as groups. July 20th back here in Chambersburg, Pennsylvania with a gallery. We're doing some crystal classes as well. July 9th, there's a chakra class. So all different types of things that are going on. And you can check my website for, my brain and my mouth are not working together very well. But you can check my website to schedule appointments, and we can do them in person or via Zoom. We can also set up groups where you're hosting them. So today, I want to talk to you a little bit about fear and grief. And I read this quote, and I'm that quote person. So I read this quote that says, "No one ever told me that grief felt so much like fear." And that's by C.S. Lewis. And when I digested that, when I thought about it, it is so much the same. Fear is defined as an unpleasant emotion caused by the belief that someone or something is in danger or likely to cause pain or a threat. And when you think about grief, when you think about fear, something is causing pain. There is a threat of losing someone. So the two of them kind of go hand in hand. And when you think about all the different things in life that we fear, good morning, Julie. The 3 main fears are the fear of death, fear of abandonment, and fear of failure. And when I sit in sessions with my clients, those 3 things come up so much. People are afraid to die. They're afraid of losing their loved ones because it's that abandonment. They feel like they are alone. I've had friends of mine who have lost both of their parents that will state to me that they're now an orphan. Well, you're not an orphan because you had parents, you had those memories, and that fear of failure. Did I do the right thing for my loved one? Are they upset with me? Do they know that I'm around? Are they around me? So all these things kind of combine and snowball into each other. So when I read that quote that no one ever told me that grief felt so much like fear, it just kind of like hit me on top of the head, like, oh my God, it is the same thing. Because it's that fear of the unknown. We fear death. I lost my train of thought. So when you lose someone, we fear life without them. We worry if they are okay. We want to know if they were in pain. We want to know what happened. We want to know why this happened. We want to know why they died or what happened. You know, when you think about especially overdoses and suicides, like why? You know, and you may never have those questions answered, but it's that fear that's in there. Even after someone passes, then you have that fear of living life without them, fear of making the right decisions, the fear of going somewhere without them. Now you've got to do it alone or with someone else. So fear and grief kind of go hand in hand. A lot of my clients will say, I'm so afraid I'm going to forget their voice. I'm so afraid I'm going to forget these memories. So that's one reason why I did the book, My Head Knows, But My Heart Still Hurts. It's a 30-day grief recovery journal that you can, write down and journal about your memories, so it will help you to remember them even more. So how do we not fear death? How do we not fear losing someone? I feel as if there isn't an easy answer for that. We're not getting out of this alive. Every single day that we live is a closer day to when we pass. So why not live your life to the fullest? Why not make as many memories as possible? Joyce Meyer says, eat the cake, buy the shoes. Like, live your life. If you live in fear, you're taking away from the memories that you could be having with someone. It's allowing yourself to be open to the universe, to God, to your life, and to be putting that one foot in front of each other and just doing things. There's so many things that are out there that are unknown that you might have a fear of, but you know what? You conquered it. You probably had your fear of the first day of school. Well, you went to school, you made it through. Maybe you had a fear of flying on an airplane for the first time, but then you did it. Had a fear of asking someone out on a date, but then you did it. You had a fear of, getting married. You had a fear of a test. You have this fear, but then you walk through it. You do it. You accomplish it. Grief is so much like that because we have this fear of how we're going to feel because our emotions, we don't have any control over it. We have absolutely no control over the emotions of grief that will come over us. So allow yourself to go through the grieving process. Feel it, walk through it, breathe, and allow it just to kind of, wash through you. Doesn't mean that once you feel the grief and you walk through the grief, that it won't come back. It's like an ocean. It'll continue to come in and out. But how you respond to it and how you react to it will help your essence honor them. So I just wanted to, kind of touch on this a little bit. Death is unknown. We don't know when, where, or how we're going to pass. But I like to think about what mark am I going to leave on this universe when I pass? What is my family going to think? What are they going to remember? What are the stories that they're going to remember? What are my kids and my grandkids going to remember? I want my kids and my grandkids to know that, no matter what they needed, I was there for them. Sometimes the answer was no, but I was there for them. And I want them to remember the laughter that we had together, doing crazy, silly things. Whether it's, I don't know. When my kids were small, I think I was pregnant with my youngest daughter, and my husband got this bucket of cold water and put it in the driveway, and he and my two other kids, just back and forth holding their breath to see who could do it the longest. And at one point, Jeff just picked their water up and just like threw it on them. I hope that they will always remember that. And I hope that they will, pass those fun times on to their kids. So if you live in fear, you take away from the time that you have on this earth, which is not that long when you really think about it. I'm almost 59 years old, and you've heard me say this before. My mom passed when she was 73. So if I pass when I'm 73, that's not that many more years that I have on this earth. It's the age of my oldest grandchild. And I think about how fast her life went from the time that we brought her home, which seems like yesterday, to, she's 14. Oh my God, she's going to be 15. Where did that go? Where did that all go? So it's buying the shoes, it's eating the cake, it's having fun, it's trying to conquer your fears, but be human about it as well. Allow those fears to kind of sit with you. Think about why you have this fear of it, where it first came about, and walk through it. So, it's expanding your faith. It's knowing that they're on the other side. They're waiting for us, basically. Doesn't mean you have to hurry up and be there. But there's evidence of your loved ones on the other side. I see that every day in readings. When Spirit comes through to me and tells me something for my client, it just doesn't appear. I'm given that information to relay to you so that there's evidence that they are okay and that they're on the other side. And there's this book, my husband and I were just talking about this the other day, where it's called The Third Love. So you're in a relationship with someone. So it's you and this person. And the third part of that, the third love, would be God, bringing God into the relationship, strengthening your relationship, because you have the Trinity, right? You have you, this person that you're in the relationship in, and God, and asking and seeing the blessings that are around. I don't know why bad things happen to good people. I don't know why good things happen to bad people. God has a bigger plan. But if you try to live every single day, not in fear, but in hopeful joy of creating memories, isn't that a much better way to view the world that's around you? I think it is. I think it's so much better to wake up with a positive attitude and try and find the positives out of the negatives, the chaos, or the clarity out of the chaos, and allow yourself to overcome the fear. Grief is probably something we're never going to overcome. We're going to lose people all of our lives. Every day we're going to lose someone. Not every day, but you know what I mean. Someone is going to pass, and you're going to have to walk through that. But remembering the memories that you had, and I know it may sound strange or morbid, but at my mom's funeral, it was so interesting to me when people got up and they spoke about her, and I heard a different version of who my mother was. I knew her as my mom, so she acted a specific way. She was a specific person to me. But to have her friends get up and talk about the friendship that they had and some of the silly things that they did, or people that she worked with, and I didn't know that side of her personality. Yes, I saw it when her friends would come over or that she would be working, but that wasn't her and I one-on-one. And it was so, it was such a blessing to me, when people would get up and they would speak about the love that they had for my mom, and that they would tell a story, and I'm thinking, my mom did that? What? You know what I mean? It's one of those things that you want to create memories so that when we go through grief, we have lots of memories, lots of things that we did together. So trying to conquer that living in fear, and fear and worry go hand in hand as well. It's like, oh my gosh, everything just kind of spirals out of control. So someone says, how can we work with that if your partner is an atheist? Well, you can pray and petition that God will intervene. Just because your partner is an atheist You still have this relationship. You can still bring God into this relationship and continue to pray that your partner will see God or the universe, however they want to talk about this. But there is this essence that something is greater than us. I feel like everyone can agree with that. There is something out there that is greater than what we are. I don't know if that helps. That's a big argument between the two of us. Well, just continue to, to me, I would try not to argue about it. I would just try and speak in the most loving way possible and have conversations with God and say, you have to help me have the right words so that they hear what I'm saying, so that it's not an argument. And if everybody can, just kind of put some hearts up for Julie so that we can keep you in our prayers and hold space for you. Not everybody sees things the exact same way that I see things or that you see things. So there are going to be differences of opinion. But know that God has a greater plan, and either you are teaching your partner something or your partner is teaching you something. But continue to pray and hold them up in prayer. And as when kind of stumbling over words today, I'm sorry. But what I was saying is, when I read that quote by C.S. Lewis, that nobody, how did it say it? Let me say it the right way. No one ever told me that grief feels so much like fear. It just kind of was like, oh my gosh, when Mom got sick, I had a fear of losing her. I had a fear of the medicines that they were giving her. I had a fear of, when we went, to the funeral home, that we had put everything together right. I had, you have these constant fears. But I got to the point in my heart when I look at the personality of my mom. She loved everyone and people so much that it would hurt her feelings if she felt she hurt someone else. So I had to, I don't even know what the right words are. Not that I didn't walk through grief, but I needed to honor her in the life that she had, because if she knew that I was sitting in grief and in sorrow and had paused and stopped because she had passed, it would break her heart. The best way to beat death is through life. So I want to continue to honor her and live through her and show these things that others can know that, my mom was who she was. It is very overwhelming at times. Oh my gosh, it can freeze you. It can stop you. If you're having a good day and all of a sudden you get this wave of something that comes over you, a song comes on, or a scent. Scents used to really hit me hard right after Mom passed, especially the scent of white diamonds. If someone would walk in and I would smell it, but it would get to the point, instead of it overwhelming me and bringing grief on, it would make me smile, because white diamonds was her favorite perfume. So it's changing the way you respond to certain things. It's allowing yourself to walk through grief, to walk through fear, because it's something we can't get away from. Why worry about it? Why fear death? It will come when it needs to come. I already talked about that. So let's talk about different memories. And, and I've done meditations with people in my life who have passed. And I've done meditations in my mind sight where I will visualize them in front of me and I will go back to a specific memory. And I used to do this meditation when I would feel afraid, or I would feel worried or indecisive. And in my mind, it would always take me to the same place where I was walking up this driveway, and the driveway was familiar, but I wasn't exactly sure what it was. And I would see this hill, and I would walk down the hill, or I would roll down the hill because I'm childlike. And then there was this flower garden that had slate plates around it. And there was a big weeping willow tree. And I would just kind of go around and around and around, just like a little girl, like I did when I was little, on these slate plates, I was just kind of walking around them. You know how little kids do that. And then all of a sudden I realized I was at my grandmother's house. That was my safe place. So when I would meditate and I would go there and I would walk up the driveway and I would be going around the flower garden with this weeping willow beside me, I would turn around and then I would visualize my grandmother standing at the back door, walking out, digging for potatoes, picking flowers, and I could start to visualize the clothes that she used to wear. And I was fairly young when she passed. I believe I was in 4th grade. And then I would start to remember what her, she always called me Stady. She didn't never call me Stacy, but she called me Stady. And those things would come back, and those memories would rush back in, and they would make me smile. So it's doing certain things like that will help you to remember what you had and help you to walk through grief. Because trust me, your loved one does not want you to stay stuck in grief. They don't want you to be afraid of losing them, because their essence is still very much with us on the other side. So that is my Tuesday Talks at 10:30 today. When I read that quote that no one told me that grief was like fear, I was like, oh my gosh, it's that same feeling that wells up in front of you. You're at Hershey Park or you're Dorney Park or whatever, and you're getting on this big roller coaster and you're overwhelmed with this fear or this excitement of getting on this ride. Me, it's usually fear. Although I love rides, I have a fear before I actually get on, and it's that same thing when I was in the hospital with my mom, and I knew that she was going to pass. I had that same anxiousness, that fear of, I just need to look at her for as long as I can. I need to hold her hand. I need to have these conversations with her because she's going to pass. Not realizing that even after she passed, I can still have these conversations with her. I can still visualize holding her hand and asking her to allow me to feel her hand in mine and have conversations with her and have these memories of, things that she would say, or, I can visualize her in this. She had this striped shirt that she wore at Christmas when we lived, oh my gosh, we lived on Leitersburg Street. That's where I grew up. In Greencastle, and I can visualize, I don't know how often she wore this shirt at Christmas time, but I can visualize this brown and red striped shirt that she has, and she's standing at like I can see it in my head, she's standing at the kitchen sink kind of looking around, and the whole kitchen is decorated with Christmas, and like she's singing Hark the Herald Angels Sing, and that's a memory that I have. Yes, we all know eventually it's going to happen, but it's not living to die, right? It's living to live. It's creating memories. When I think about when I pass, like I'm comfortable with the thought of someday I'm not going to be here, but it breaks my heart to know that my kids and my grandkids, what they're going to have to go through after I pass. Makes sense? So why live in fear? Make those moments, make those memories, eat the cake, buy the shoes, because we're not getting out of here alive. Why fear it? It's finding that comfort level with yourself on this earth plane so that when we do transition and go to the other side, my hope is that, God will look at me and say, well done, good and faithful servant. I'm sure there's a lot of things that go, well, could have done this a little better. What was up with this? But I want to live in honor of life. I was given this gift of life. I need to live it and honor it. So, lots of events coming up like we talked about. I will be in Bel Air, Maryland, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. Check the event page. Still some seats available. June 11th, there's a gallery reading here at Hip Gypsy. Then I'm back in Bel Air, Maryland, June 26th through the 28th. July 20th, there's a gallery here We do have some crystal classes, July 9th, Crystals and Chakras, August 13th. There's a grid class. Then there's one on shapes and sizes. And what's really cool, or I think it's cool, maybe you won't, is we created these crystal classes here at Hip Gypsy Emporium because my book, now sorry, this is the one proof copy, The Crystal Addiction Diary, is going to be out very soon. Final proof, it's being published, and I should have copies very, very soon. But it's a way for you to index your crystals and your stones so that you can keep track of them. So I'm excited for the book to be out. So we created these crystal classes from June until December. So we've got, like I said, we've got the beginners crystal class, which is the 25th, that's sold out. Then there's a crystal chakra class, there's a grid class, crystal shapes and sizes, manifest and affirmations, finding calmness in the chaos. And then in December, we're doing a crystal class and astrology. It is very scary when you lose the second parent. Yeah, I mean, your mortality, you know, when I think about the things that I did when I was younger, even in my 30s and 40s, like I didn't even think about the outcome of, you know, oh my God, that could have killed me. You know, I just did it because you feel invincible. But the older you get and the more aches and pains that the body has and the slower you get, and you think to yourself, gosh, I did a lot of really crazy things, but I wouldn't change anything. What can I do in this season of my life that will help? This is my goal. Help heal others. Help them to have a memory of me. Maybe they laugh about something. Maybe they'll remember, you know, the kooky clothes and the you know, the rings that I wore. You know, I want people to remember, oh my God, she was always on the dance floor. Her motto was, if it was a floor, it was a dance floor. These are those things, but that I loved to the greatest of my ability, that I shared what I could share, and that, you know, in the end, you know that I loved you and I had time for you. I don't know. But I don't want to fear that. I don't want to fear that second half, you know. I guess I'm past midlife, unless I'm going to live to be 118, which, good grief, right? So, but it's not fearing what's coming. It's living in the present. So, thank you all so much for tuning in on Tuesday Talks at 10:30. My name is Stacy Neethal. Check out my event page if you're interested in a reading or a gallery or a group or the crystal class. Go to the website if you're interested in getting my first book, My Head Knows But My Heart Still Hurts. Once I have the second book in my hand, that'll be up, and then I'll have a post about that and where to get it and how to get it. But I hope you all have a great and wonderful day. We are having, I should put this little 2-second commercial. This Saturday at Hip Gypsy Emporium, we have the Lannis Fence coming to play and vendors. So this is our Spring Fest. Come on out and have a good time with us. All right, guys. Pray that you're living the life you love. You're loving the life you live. If not, you're the only one that can change it. Don't fear. Live in life in the present. All right, guys. Peace out. I'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.